Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters and brothers. During this auspicious celebration of Sri Krishna Janamastami, we are very happy to announce that His Holiness Sri Swami Ganeshananda Ji Maharaj will present 4 discourses on the glories of Sri Krishna Bhagwan and his divine play. Revered Swami Ganeshananda Ji Maharaj is a spiritual director and secretary of Ramakrishna Vedanta Center, Lusaka, a branch of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, Belur Mutt, India. Maharaj hails from Gujarat and was posted at Limdi in 2001 when a massive earthquake devastated the region. Maharaj was involved in primary relief and earthquake rehabilitation projects and the building of 26 schools in different villages. Prior to his posting in Lusaka, Maharaj served at the Ramakrishna Mission, Vishakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, where he conducted medical, educational, cultural, spiritual, and tribal development activities. Maharaj started water development projects in rural areas and organized over 250 free medical and eye camps for the less fortunate in those regions. To empower tribal and poor women, Maharaj began tailoring classes and distributed more than 400 sewing machines to them. While at Vishakhapatnam, Swamiji addressed more than 250,000 students from various schools, colleges, and universities on various topics including craft your character, right use of emotions, and education for tomorrow. Maharaj also conducted more than 30 workshops for corporate sectors on life management, stress management, art of work, and human excellence. Maharaj conducted many 7-day Bhagavatam satsangs at the Ramakrishna Mission centers and other organizations. He had delivered a series of talks on the Upanishads and conducted many spiritual classes in Hindi, Gujarati, and English. His guided meditation sessions have become popular among spiritual seekers and corporate sectors. Revered Maharaj conducted satsangs on the Srimad Bhagavatam continuously for 250 days at the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, Rajkot, during the global pandemic. It was telecast globally through YouTube. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we read, O Krishna, the nectar of your words and the narrations of your pastimes give life to us, who are always suffering in this material world. This nectar is broadcast all over the world by great souls, and it removes all sinful reactions. It is all auspicious and filled with spiritual power. Those who spread this message of Godhead are certainly doing the greatest relief work for human society and are most magnanimous welfare workers. Maharaj will present 4 one-hour discourses tonight, tomorrow night, and 2 on Monday, the Janamastami night. Kindly refer to the Krishna Ashtami invite for details. May we feel inspired by Maharaj's discourses, which will bring peace to all. Dear sisters and brothers, it is my privilege to invite Revered Swami Ganeshananda Ji Maharaj to present his discourses.
Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avadara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya de namaha. Narayanam namaskrutyam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. I offer my Sastang Dandat Pranams at the holy feet of Holy Trio and at the holy feet of Lord Krishna. My respectful pranams to Revered Prabhrajika Ishta Pranamataji, who has given me an opportunity to do this Bhagavad Satsang on the occasion of Krishna Janamastami. And my Om Namo Narayana to one and all. Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna. So when we start this Srimad Bhagavat Satsang for 4 days. First, in this first class, let us see the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. We know that any scripture of our Vedic Sanatana Dharma, it begins with Mangalacharana. So in this Bhagavatam also, there is a Mangalacharana. And what is meant by Bhagavatam? What it is, what type of scripture it is. We shall try to see all these points in this session. First of all, if we try to understand what is meant by Bhagavatam, if we split one word, Bhagavata, what is meant by Bha? Bha means Bhati Yati Sarvalokeshu. That means the one which enlightens whole universe, all lokas. That is known as Bha. Ga means Jnana, knowledge, supreme knowledge. By attaining that knowledge, nothing is to be known anymore. That is called supreme knowledge. Va means Varishtha Sarvasastreshu. Varishtha Sarvasastreshu means the foremost among all scriptures. There are so many scriptures in our Vedic Sanatana Dharma. So this Bhagavatam is foremost among all scriptures, among all other scriptures. And Ga means Gatir Yasya Alaukiki, the one which takes us towards divinity in a simple meaning. So Bha means Bhati Yati Sarvalokeshu, the one which enlightens the whole universe. Ga means Gatir Yasya Alaukiki, the one which takes us towards divinity. Va means Varishtha Sarvasastresu, foremost among all the scriptures. And Ta means by Taraniri Yasya Bhavambudau, the one which takes us, the one which crosses us, the one which makes us to cross this ocean of samsara, ocean of birth and death. The one which makes us to cross us this samsara. Samsara means where birth and death is continuously happening. So this is meaning of Bhagavata. And now if we see it in a simple meaning, what is meant by Bhagavata? Bhagavata means, Bha means Bhakti. Bhakti means devotion. Ga means knowledge. Knowledge means supreme knowledge. Jnana. Va means Vairagya, dispassion or renunciation. Ta means immediately, Turanta. By reading or by taking shelter of that scriptures, the devotion along with knowledge and dispassion will develop immediately in our heart, is known as Bhagavata. By taking refuge at the scripture, at the Bhagavatam, or by taking refuge at the feet of that scripture, we develop devotion along with knowledge and dispassion immediately, is known as Bhagavata. Now this Bhagavata has, it was composed by Sri Vedavyasa. Bhagavata was composed by Sri Vedavyasa, and it is the last scripture which was composed by Lord Vedavyasa. Lord Vedavyasa, what he has done? He has divided Vedas into 4 parts. Previously, Veda was only one Veda was there. But Vedavyasa came to know that in Kali Yuga, people will not be able to grasp the meaning of this single Veda. So he divided Veda into 4 parts. That is Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. Rik, Sam, Yaju, and Artha. He divided Vedas into 4 parts. Then he wrote a wonderful book of Brahma Sutra. This Brahma Sutra helps us to understand the wonderful philosophical meaning of our Upanishads. So he has written Brahma Sutra to understand the meaning of Upanishads. Then he wrote wonderful book Mahabharata. This book is known as history book. It is known as Itihasa. Itihasa means history. What does it mean? Itihasa. This is what happened exactly. If we know the meaning of Sanskrit of Itihasa, Iti plus Ha plus Asa is equal to Itihasa. This is what exactly happened. So, Bhagavana Vedavyasa had written wonderful book of Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is a very vast book. More than even 1 lakh slokas are there. And Vedavyasa wrote that wonderful book. Next, he had written 17 Puranas. You can call it as epics. Now, 17 Puranas are written, Brahma Sutra is written, Mahabharata is written, and Vedas are divided into 4 parts. But still, Vedavyasa is not happy with this, with his works. Still, he feels that something is left out. His heart is not at peace. His heart is not at joy. Why? Because he has come to serve the humanity. And the one who satisfies by the way in which he is doing service, then the purpose is not solved. Because he has come to serve. So there is always dissatisfaction in him, however much he does service. Still is not satisfied totally. That is why he is not still satisfied. He is thinking that something is left out. And what happens? Rishi Narada came. And Narada came and told him this Bhagavatam. Narada came and said, see, Lord Vedavyasa, you have written wonderful books. You have done wonderful service to the humanity. But one work is left out. And that one work is, now you start to sing the glory of God. All these books you have written by keeping your intellect in center point. Now, I request you to write one book by keeping your heart as a center point and sing the glory of Lord Hari, Lord Sri Hari. Sing the glory of Lord Sri Krishna by keeping your heart in center. Now you dive deep into Samadhi, and in Samadhi, whatever divine Leela you are going to see, that you narrate it and it will become a Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is how Lord Vedavyasa composed. Not only composed, he has written this Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana. Srimad Bhagavat consists of 18,000 slokas. Lord Vedavyasa made it 18,000 slokas. Actually, Lord Narada gave him 4 slokas only. Out of these 4 slokas, he made 18,000 slokas. And these 18,000 slokas are divided into 12 skandhas. 12 skandhas means canto. You can say in English, it is known as canto. So 1 canto, 2nd canto, 3rd canto, 4th canto. Likewise, there are 12 cantos. And all put together, there are 18,000 slokas. 335 chapters are there. This is what we are getting general idea about Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the last scripture written by Lord Vedavyasa. And this book, particular Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana, is unparalleled. Lord Vedavyasa is writing everything, whatever he is seeing in Samadhi about divine play of Lord. He is just writing it, he is just putting it into the words. And this is how Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana has come. Now, before we enter into this book, we must know what is the significance of this book, why I should read it, and how it is going to help me in my day-to-day activities. So, let us come to this point now. And before we discuss this point, we must sing Mangalacharan of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is wonderful Mangalacharan of Srimad Bhagavatam. In Mangalacharan, generally, Mangalacharan consists of the form of God, what God does, and who is that God. These 3 points are covered in Mangalacharan. So now we shall start to see this wonderful Mangalacharan of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is that? Satchidananda Rupaya Visvotpatyadi Hetave Tabatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Satchidananda Rupaya Visvotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. We shall try to see this sloka in a little bit detailed way so we can understand what this Mangalacharan is. First portion of the sloka is Satchidananda Rupaya. What is the form of God? What is the Rupa of God? Means how the God is. That is depicted. Satchidananda Rupaya. Satchidananda. What is meant by Satchidananda? Let us split this word, Satchidananda. You know, in Sanskrit language, we have to split the word. So, Satchidananda means Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Now, what is meant by Sat, Chit, and Ananda? Sat means absolute truth. Chit means absolute knowledge. And Ananda means absolute bliss. Now, if we try to see the simple meaning of this absolute truth, absolute knowledge, and absolute bliss, what it is? Absolute truth means truth was in past, truth is in present, and truth will remain in future. It is known as absolute truth. He is truth itself. Lord Krishna was there 5,000 years back also, even 10,000 years back also. God was there even billions of years ago also. God is here at present and God will remain in future also. The time cannot wipe out God. Time cannot make any effect on God because God is truth itself. And truth will not have any effect of time. Time, space, and causation. We know that whole universe is composed under the limitations of time, space, and causation. Time we know. See, continuously every second time is moving continuously. Space means wherever we go, there is a space. And causation means cause and effect. If we discuss a little bit this point of causation, what is meant by cause and effect? Let me give a small example. Suppose we make curd out of milk. So milk has become cause and curd has become effect. From curd, we make, butter. So now curd has become cause and butter has become effect. And from butter, we make ghee. In English, there is no proper word for ghee, so all of us understand this ghee. So butter has become cause and ghee has become effect. This is known as cause and effect relationship. So the whole universe is under the boundary of this time, space, and causation. But this truth, this God, truth means God. God is not under the boundary of time, space, and causation. That is why God is absolute truth. Means God was in past, God is in present, and God will remain in future. This is known as absolute truth. Now, absolute knowledge. Generally, what we do, we get knowledge through books and through talks, by reading, by listening. These are the ways we get knowledge. But God is knowledge itself. God is knowledge itself. This is most important. He should not receive knowledge through books, or he should not get knowledge by listening something from others. Not at all. He is knowledge itself. And the third is bliss, absolute bliss. Right now, we derive our bliss from people or from things outside, from people outside, or from any incident. But God doesn't derive bliss from people outside, from things outside, or from events outside. The bliss comes from within, actually, and he himself is a bliss. He's a Swarupa. He himself is an absolute bliss. He's nothing but, in a way, we can say embodiment of bliss. That is why God, Swarupa, is the form of God is absolute truth, absolute knowledge, and absolute bliss. That is known as Satchidananda Rupaya. Now, if we go a little bit detailed in this Satchidananda Rupaya definition, our own Swarupa, that means our own true nature, is also Satchidananda. Because God resides inside us. If the form of God is Satchidananda, then my form is also, my true nature is also Satchidananda. How? Let us see it. My true nature is absolute truth, absolute knowledge, absolute bliss. How? See, suppose I am suffering from fever or cough or cold. Immediately what I will do? I will rush to the doctor and I will request, please give me medicine to cure this disease. If there is any toothache, immediately I will rush to the doctor. Irrespective of my age, whether I am of 10 years old, 20, 40, 80, 100, 110, 120, irrespective of my age. None of us want to die. Why? Because my true nature is absolute truth. Even those who are committing suicide, they are also not committing suicide willingly. Under one mental wave or under one emotion, they take that step. Why? Because of that, they become slave of that one emotion, and as a result, they have committed suicide. But our real Swarupa, our true nature is absolute truth. That's why we want to live longer and longer. I have lived 40 years, 45 years, suppose 50 years. I want to live another 10 years. I want to live another 20 years. I want to live another 50 years. I want to live another 100 years. None of us want to die because our true nature is absolute truth. Then comes absolute knowledge. All of us have qualifications. All of us have got degrees from our college or university, whatever you say. All of us have a sufficient knowledge to earn our bread, butter, and shelter. But all of us are now sitting here and doing this satsanga. Why? Because there is always zeal to know something more. There is always one fire is burning to know something more. Suppose you are a student of medicine, then you want to know something about engineering. Suppose you are a student of engineering, you want to know something about medical science, or something about arts, or something about philosophy, or something about commerce. There is always one fire is burning in all of us, in all human beings, to know something more, because our true nature is absolute knowledge. And third is absolute bliss. What does it mean? We are all working day and night to have a joy in life. We are working for this only. We have got degrees from college or universities, various universities and various colleges, just to have a bliss, to have a joy. Why we are working? Because to have a joy. Why we are doing this satsanga? To derive joy out of this. So we are continuously in search of bliss. We are continuously in search of joy. None of us wants any misery. None of us want any pain in our life. We want joy during daytime as well as during nighttime also. We want joy from our family members, from our friends, from our known people, even from unknown people also. We want joy. We want joy in our house as well as in working place also. We want joy in waking state. We want joy in our dream state, and we want joy in our deep sleep state also. In all the three states, we want joy, When we are awakened, we want joy in our every actions. When we see dreams, that time also we want to see only good dreams. If any bad dream is there or any horror dream is there, immediately we woke up and we feel, what is this? What has gone wrong with me? Why I have seen such kind of bad dreams? Because we want happiness in our dreams also. And we want to have a joy in deep sleep also. If we don't get deep sleep, then we are disturbed. Immediately we say, I did not have proper sleep last night. I am not keeping okay. My mind is a little bit irritative. We say these words because I did not have a proper sleep. So in all the three states, we want bliss. So we want joy from everybody. We want joy from everyone. We want joy everywhere. And we want joy in all the states of mind. Because our own Swarupa is absolute bliss. And this is what Satchidananda. The practical application of this Satchidananda is this. That is why it is known as Satchidananda Rupaya. And then comes Visvotpatyadi Hetave. In this portion of the sloka, it is narrated what work God does. Visvotpatyadi Hetave. God creates the universe, He sustains the universe, and He destroys the universe. All the three works are done by God only. He creates the universe. That is why in Bhagavatam also it will come in our further satsang that we have come out from the God, we are in the God, and we will go back to the God. God has created the universe. God only sustains it and God only destroys it. We sing, Srushti Sthiti Vinashanam Sakti Bhute Sanadani Gunasraye Gunamaye Narayani Namostude. So God does these three works. We also do these three works only. We create something new. Suppose any housewife is preparing nice dish. So she is creating wonderful food item. She is creating and she preserve it for her family members. And at last, if that food is spoiled, she destroys that food also. In a similar way, we construct new house or new office. That is called construction. That is called we create. And if the house is already constructed, we try to maintain it. That is called we are sustaining it. And if we feel that house is pretty old, now I have to make new house, we destroy that house. So all of us are doing these three works only. Either we create something new in a form of thought also, we create new thought. We sustain that thought and we destroy the old thoughts which are now no more useful. In all the way, all of us, all human beings are doing the same three works. We create something, we sustain something, and we destroy something. So Visvotpatyadi Hetave, second portion of the sloka. And the third person is Tapatraya Vinashaya. What does it mean? Here God says, I remove all the three miseries. What are the three miseries? Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, and Adhyatmika. Adi Bhautika means a misery caused by physical injury or physical pain. Suppose we are having chronic disease, blood pressure, blood sugar, or backache, or some other problems, kidney problems, whatnot nowadays. And this is known as physical pain. So God says, I remove your physical pain also. Then comes pain caused by natural calamities. Earthquake, tsunami, flood comes, suddenly drought happens. All these are natural calamities. All these things are known as Adhidaivika. Means pain caused by nature. This COVID-19 pandemic, it is also a pain caused by nature. So God says, I remove this Adhidaivika tapa also. Tapa means dukkha. Dukkha means misery. And then comes Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means pain caused by our mental attitude. Pain caused by our thoughts in a way. Generally, we get disturbed by thoughts inside. So God is telling, I will remove all the three tapas, means all the three miseries. What are that? Adibhautika, Adidaivika, and Adhyatmika. And in last portion, God says, Sri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Who is that God? Whose form is Satchidananda, absolute truth, absolute knowledge, and absolute bliss. Who does the work? What work he does? who does the work of creating this world, sustaining it, and destroying it, and who removes the three miseries. Who is that God? Sri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. He is Krishna himself. Now the prefix is Sri. Before Krishna word, there is a Sri. Sri is a prefix. What does it mean? Sri means Radhika. Srimati Radhika ji. Radha. Now whom should we call a Radha? Radha means continuous flow of love towards Krishna, uninterrupted flow of love towards Lord Krishna is known as Radha. This word is the Radha. If you reverse the word, what comes? Dhara. Dhara means continuous flow. Continuous flow of love towards whom? Towards Lord Krishna is known as Radha. Now, what is meant by Krishna? Actually, the word is actually Krishna. Due to limitation of, language, we are pronouncing as Krishna in English. So, what is meant by Krishna? The one who attracts everyone towards him is known as Krishna. Sri Krishnaya. The one who attracts everyone towards him is known as Krishna. Vayam Numaha. Vayam means Vakta and Srota, the speaker and the listeners. Everyone. So we both, Vakta and Srota, speaker and the listeners, are bowing down at your holy feet, are taking refuge at your holy feet. This is called a Mangalacharana of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's wonderful. Satchidananda Rupaya Visvotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Now second sloka goes Yam Brajandam Anubedam Abeda Krutyam Vaipayano Virahakadar Ajuhava Putredi Tanmayadaya Tarabo Binedu Tam Sarvabhudaridayam Munimani Dosmi. Before we enter into the meaning of this sloka, let me tell you one important point is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam is described in Padma Purana. And Padma Purana says the wonderful glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because diamond doesn't speak its own glory. We know the glory of diamond will be spoken by somebody else. In a similar way, Bhagavata doesn't speak its own glory. Padma Purana speaks the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the glory? We shall see that. And this sloka comes under the Padma Purana. Yam prabrajandamanupe tamapeta krutyam dvaipayano virahakatar ajuhava putredi tanmayataya taravo binedu tam sarvabhudaridayam munimani dosmi. This sloka depicts the wonderful character about Sri Shukadeva. Who is the Lord Sukadeva? Shukadeva is the chief speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. First, he only told this Srimad Bhagavatam to King Parikshita. We shall see this. So in this sloka, it is written the wonderful characteristic of Lord Shukadeva. Who is the Sukadeva? Sukadeva is none other than the son of Lord Vedavyasa. It is said, once Shiva was telling the wonderful secrets of this Srimad Bhagavatam, and he made it sure that nobody should listen this, because it's a wonderful secret of this Srimad Bhagavatam. And there was nobody around Shiva and Parvati, but there was one small egg which was totally dead, and that egg was of parrot egg. And Shiva started to tell the wonderful secrets to Parvati, and Parvati went into ecstasy suddenly. And that small egg, which was already dead, became live because of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that from that egg came small parrot. And parrot was telling Om, Om, Om. That means yes, yes, and yes. Suddenly, Shiva did not hear the sound of Parvati, so he opened his eyes and he happened to see that small parrot is telling Om, Om, Om. And Shiva found that Parvati went into ecstasy. So Shiva said, you have not taken any initiation properly. How can you listen this? Shiva became angry on that parrot. So what parrot did? Parrot went inside the mouth of wife of Lord Vyasa. See, that parrot went inside the mouth of Lord Vyasa's wife and remained there for 12 long years. He did not come out. Now see, it may look a little bit strange for you people, but it's a real story. Don't think that's just simply, it's made out of somebody's mind. No, it happened. In due course, we will be able to understand this. But now that parrot has gone inside the womb of Vyasa's wife. And now Vedavyasa is listening wonderful Veda Dhvani, wonderful slokas of Vedas from the womb of his own wife. So he requested, whosoever is you inside the womb of my wife, you please come out. Now the person who is inside the womb of Lord Vedvyasa's wife, he is telling, I don't want to come out, because if I will come out, Maya, that means illusion, will entangle me. Then Lord Vedavyasa called Lord Krishna and said, you please give assurance to the person who is inside my wife's womb that the Maya will not catch him. Lord Krishna came and said, don't worry, please come out. Maya will not catch you. Then after 12 long years, Shukadeva was born after 12 long years. And the moment he was born, he said to his own father, Lord Vedavyasa, oh, my father Vedavyasa, oh Vedavyasa, I am not your son and you are not my father. I do not belong to you, neither you belong to me. And he started to run immediately. Lord Vedavyasa also started to run behind him. And suddenly he was disappeared. And he was shouting, oh my dear son Shukadeva, oh my dear son Shukadeva, where have you gone? Where have you gone? And that time trees replied, oh Vedavyasa, the one whom you are thinking as your own son, he is not only your own son, he is the same Shiva Tattva who is residing in the whole universe, in living beings as well as in inertia. Everywhere he only resides, that Shiva Tattva. And that is why it is written, Yam Prabrajandam Anubedam Apeta Krutyam Vaipayano Virahakatar Ajuhav Putreti Tanmayatayataravu Vinedu Tam Sarvabhutaridayam Munimanitosmi Tam Sarvabhutaridayam. He is residing in each and every being, living being as well as in inertia, everywhere, living being as well as non-living beings. He is residing in each and everywhere. That is why it is said, Shuka is who? Same. Shiva Tattva is the only Shukadeva. Shiva is the only Shukadeva. Shivaha Sukha Swayam. It is written in our scriptures. So this is what Sukadevaji is. And this Shukadeva is a chief speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now this Srimad Bhagavatam, originally, it was told by Lord himself. It was told by Lord Narayana to Lord Brahmaji. Then Brahmaji told it to Naradaji, and Naradji told it to Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa told it to Shukadeva, and Shukadeva told it to King Parikshita. This is the parampara. This is how it follows. First, Lord himself told, Lord Narayana. That is why we worship Narayana and we recite this sloka. Namami Narayana pada pangajam karomi Narayana pujanam sada vadami Narayana nama nirmalam smarami Narayana tattvam amyayam. Lord Narayana. Lord Narayana himself said it to Brahmaji. Now let us see the philosophical meaning of this parampara, this tradition. The tradition is first Lord Narayana told it to Brahmaji. Now where Lord Narayana resides, he resides in our heart. Nar plus ayana is equal to Narayana. If we split the word Narayana, Nar plus ayana is equal to Narayana. Nara means water. The one who resides in the water, Kshirasagara. Lord Narayana resides in Kshirasagara. So in our heart, all our emotions are coming. Whatever emotions are coming, it is coming in our heart. So ocean of emotions is our own heart. So Narayana resides in our heart. And Brahma. Brahma means he is the deity of our intellect. So heart told this Srimad Bhagavatam to our intellect. Narayana told to Brahmaji. Now Brahma told it to Narada. Narada means our mind. That means our intellect told it to our mind. Then Narada told it to Lord Vedavyasa. Means our mind told it to our speech. Vyasa means the one which explains, the one which elaborates it is known as Vyasa. So our speech elaborates everything. That's why our mind, that means Narada, told it to Vyasa. Mind told it to our speech. And Vyasa told it to Shukadeva. Shukadeva represents word. Word. So speech came out through words. Words only came out from speech. That's why Vyasa told it to Shukadeva. And Shukadeva told it to Parikshita. And whom should we call a Parikshita now? The one who sees God in everyone. The one who is in search of God. The one who knows that when I was in my mother's womb, God only protected me. So when that child came out from the womb of mother, he is in search of that God. He is saying, is my God residing in this human being? The one who sees every human being with the purity of these eyes. The one who tries to see God in each and everyone is known as Parikshita. The one who knows that God only protected me when I was in the womb of my mother. So I have come out. So let me search that God. And where he will search the God, he will search the God in every human being. So the one who sees God in every human being is known as Parikshita. So this is how the tradition of Bhagavata goes. Now, this Bhagavata, what it does, in Padma Purana, it comes that once more than 80,000 rishis, they assembled in one place, and that place is known as Naimisharanya. That place is situated in India, near Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh, 50 kilometers away from Lucknow, that is known as Naimisharanya. Some of you might have visited that place also. So that Naimisharanya place, there more than 80,000 rishis assembled to do satsanga. Actually, they are performing yajna also there. That means havana. They have assembled and they are performing yajna. And in that yajna, one great sage, Sutaji, came, whose name is Sutaji. So it is written, Naimishe Sutamasinam Avivadya Mahamadim Katamrudarasaswada Kushalah Saunako Bravit. Immediately in that yajna, where 80,000 rishis are assembled at Naimisharanya, there Sutaji came. So all rishis, they got up, they gave him proper respect, and they said, O Suta, O Lord Sutaji, O great sage Sutaji, your knowledge is wonderful. How is your knowledge? Ajnana dvanta vidvansa koti surya samaprabha sutakhyahi katha saram mama karna rasayanam. Your knowledge is equal to billions and billions of suns. Only one sun dispels the darkness, but your knowledge is equal to billions and billions of suns. So you remove the darkness from our hearts. You remove the ignorance from our heart and give us the supreme knowledge. Ajnana dvanta vidvansa koti surya samaprabha sutakhyahi kathasaram mama karna rasayanam. And tell us the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tell us the essence of Katha. Katha means how God played this divine Leela, is known as Katha. Srimad Bhagavata Katha. Katha means how God performed this wonderful Leela, divine play, is known as Katha. So please tell us the essence of divine play of Lord Krishna. Kathamrutarasa swada. Ajnana dvanta vidvansa koti surya samaprabha sutakyahi kathasaram mama karna rasayanam. Our ears are very eager to listen the divine play of Lord Krishna, how he performed wonderful divine play on the earth. Please tell us the essence of that divine play. And then he says, how we can develop devotion along with knowledge and renunciation in our heart. Because in this Kali Yuga, people are not having devotion. People do not strive for supreme knowledge. People do not possess any renunciation, any dispassion. They are in ignorance. Their tendency is only to eat, drink, be merry, and produce children. So how to develop devotion towards God in their hearts? Please tell us. And at the same time, how we can develop zeal for supreme knowledge as well as renunciation in their hearts. Please tell us. Bhakti jnana viragapto viveko vardate mahan maya moha nirasascha vaishnavaihi kriyate katham. And how we can remove the veil of Maya, that means illusion, from our mind. You please tell us. And now Sutaji is telling, wonderful. And this is how Padma Purana narrates the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam. It goes like this. Once sage Narada, he came to Badrikashram. All of us know that, Char Dham Sardar, Badrikashram, Kedarnath, Gangotri, and Yamunotri. It is situated in Himalayas. So Badrikashram is the place where Lord Narayana performed tapas and gave his own Swarupa for the sake of the world. So people can come and they can worship here, that Lord Narayana, and people can get benefit out of that. That's why Lord Narayana performed tapas at Badrikashram. So Lord Narayana's place is Badrikashram. Lord Shiva's place is at Kedarnath. And Gangotri, Mother Ganga comes from Gangotri, Gaumukh and Gangotri. And Mother Yamuna comes from Yamunotri. So these are 4 places. So once Lord Narada came to Badrikashram, he was hurriedly moving and he was in tension. Suddenly, 4 rishis, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. These are 4 rishis. They are Manasaputra of Brahmaji. Not Putra, not biological children. Manasaputra. We will understand terminology, what is meant by Manasaputra in our further discourses. But right now it is sufficient for us to know that these are Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar. These 4 are Manasputras, means sons of Lord Vedavyasa. Sorry, Lord Narayana himself. Lord Brahmaji also. So these Sanat Kumars, they are Manasaputra of Brahma. So they happen to meet with this Narada. And they ask, Narada, what is the matter? Why are you hurrying a lot? You seem to be under tension. What's the matter? Please tell us. Then Lord Narada says, how can I tell you what is happening on the earth? I came from Vaikuntha on earth and I was moving around the earth. And I happened to see that in various places of pilgrimage, people are not performing any tapas. People are not speaking truth. People are enjoying in the name of spirituality and in the name of religion. People's intentions are different. Their mind is always ready only to enjoy the world. And all bad things I have happened to see in various places of pilgrimage. At last I came to Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna performed his wonderful divine Leela. And there I happened to see one incident. And what was that incident? One lady was there, she was young, and she was weeping. Next to him, two old men became unconscious, and that lady was young. 2 men were just next to her and they were unconscious, and this lady was trying to awaken that 2 men continuously, and many other women were in service of that lady, young lady. I was quite surprised. What's the matter? And that lady also happened to see me, and she said, "O Narada, Bho sadhu, kshanam tishta. Oh holy man, please wait for a minute. Please come to me, near to me, and remove my pain, remove my agony." I said, "Who are you? First of all, tell me." Then that lady said, "I am known as a bhakti. These 2 men, they are my sons. One is Jnana and another is Vairagya. Jnana means knowledge. Vairagya means dispassion. I was born in parts of India. I was born in Dravida Desha. Then I was nurtured in Karnataka, and in Maharashtra, I was respected at various places. But when I came to Gujarat, I became old. So again, I came back to this Vrindavana. When I came to Vrindavana, I myself became young. 2 sons, Jnana and Vairagya, they have become old and they are unconscious. Please do something so they can come to the consciousness and they can get back there. Do this." And the ladies who are serving me, they are various rivers. Ganga, Yamuna, Kaveri, Godavari, they are continuously in service of us. And Narada was surprised. What is this? Now, what Narada did, that we shall try to see in next class. Today, this much is sufficient. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ram Krishnarpanamastu. Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Ram Krishna to one and all. Jai Sri Krishna to one and all. Thank you.